Okay, well, good morning and welcome back finally to Italy. So, it has been a long time. It has been a couple of months since I posted my last video. I'm very sorry about that. Thank you very much for your messages, your questions. I'm sorry for not answering them. It's just been one thing after the other. I was ill, and then there was the start of school and a huge amount of work. And I didn't actually have much to tell. So, I did and have a collection of me saying hello and welcome back. I'm in Austria and I haven't really got much to tell. And then I thought, well, if you really haven't got anything to tell, why bother? So I didn't in the end. And I was distracted, to say the least, by various other things. But I'm here now. I got in the night. It's going to be a pain now for a while because the main motorway from Innsbruck down is down to one lane. So it took me a long time to get in. I got here at about 11 last night. It's bright and early the next morning. You can see the sun, as always, is shining here. Well, not as always, but as always in my mind. So I'm here to do some serious work. I'm going to do some roofing, but first, my pellet oven has gone on strike, so I'm going to have to take that to pieces. The fan seems to be stuck, so it's probably nothing serious, but it'll take me half an hour just to strip that down, and I'll probably get dirty doing it. And then I shall head down and set up the scaffold. So it's saying there's a problem with the fan. I presume that's behind this little door here. So I'm going to get that off, and then we'll see what's going on in there. I imagine it'll just be a quick hoover job. At least I hope so. There we go, it's all back together. It certainly seems to be turning on, so we'll find out in a couple of minutes if it lights properly. So it looks pretty good. It'll probably burst into flames any second now. So that was a quick, easy fix. Now I can go downstairs and start setting up. So I'm just going to wait for it to actually ignite. On a downside, when I bought this pellet oven 2 years ago and installed it, or yeah, about 2 years ago now, I think. Must be about right. A 15 kilo bag of pellets cost about €3.50, and I just bought some for $11.99. So that's well, everyone's talking about it, but the prices of heating and the prices of driving down here and all of these things, they do come together quite quickly. Anyway, that's working very well. I'm happy with that. So I'm going to go downstairs and get on with what I have to do. Okay, so I'm down on the bigger terrace. As you can see, things are still, we have some roses blooming in the front. The neighbour has lots of roses blooming. So the first thing I'm going to do is clear away all of these wooden tiles, put the table up, basically move everything as far out of the way as I can, and then get the scaffold installed up against this wall. That's definitely going to be the first thing to do. And then I'm going to try and take this pipe down here, put it somewhere else, get rid of that bit of pipe, and I'll start stripping the roof off. Okay, well, you'll remember from the knock-up, if you watched that it goes together pretty quickly. I just need to make sure that I can still get in and out of what's left of the kitchen door. I'll be able to squeeze through there, so that won't be too bad. But it wants to be sort of centered anyway to the top of the roof, because that's the most important bit. That's where I'll be finishing. So yeah, I'm just gonna knock it together now quite quickly. And I'll show you in a second, once it's up, how it's going to work. Okay, well, there it is. One extremely useful piece of kit. so it's super stable, but I will tie it into the roof, or into the wall rather. But first I'm going to get rid of that pipe. I'm going to try and get rid of that pipe there, and I'm going to absolutely first of all put a spirit level on it, make sure it's level, because if it tips one way or the other it will very quickly become unstable. But that's an excellent bargain that I picked up there, and that will make my life a whole lot easier, because no one likes working on ladders. Okay, well, here I am up on top of the scaffold. The old chimney is gone. I was pretty careful with it because I'm not quite sure what it's made of. And this is what we're about to attack, but I'm going to do most of it, well, I'm going to start doing it from the inside. I've got some nice metal work for the other side. I've got some metal work for this side, similar to what's on that roof over there. So yeah, it's basically now just a matter of getting started and getting off as much as possible today while the sun is shining. It's not going to rain for a few days, so that should be pretty good. But once again, another perspective. Look, there's Casa Pericolo. I've been trying to get her on the phone for weeks, and I haven't been able to get through to her, so I hope she's all right, and I hope she's not avoiding me. Those are my two hopes. So anyway, let me turn the camera around and show you another exciting view, and then I shall climb back down, go inside and start taking some tiles off. It is so spectacularly beautiful here, and everywhere you climb to or look out of, there's a different view. Every time I'm invited to someone else's house, I get to see a whole nother view. At the end of summer we had a big hornet's nest up on that far wall there. I don't know if you can see where the white is. We had a professional guy come and deal with that. I'm not quite sure what he did, but he came and there are no more hornets, so that's a good thing, because they were attracted to this light as well, and they were all over the place, so it was quite unpleasant in the evenings. I don't like hornets very much, to be honest. So yeah, as you can see, it's desperately in need of some love, and then it'll be the next one along next. So as we move along the house bit by bit. Here, let me just show you what's wrong with this, other than the fact that the tiles, well, some of the tiles might be okay, but I think I might change all of the tiles. They really aren't very expensive, but everything else is sort of made of dust. So this is, I'm not even sure what was here on the end of it. It looks like it was just plastered up, which isn't ideal, but it's basically, and it has a couple of bellies in it. So yeah, let's just strip it off first. Okay, well, oops, excuse my hair. I've made a hole here to climb out of, and now I can start taking the tiles off, and I'll be making little stacks, and then I can bring the stacks down at the end. So it really is a small roof. It's a nice, easy one to start with, but it's so much in need of love. There are broken tiles everywhere. If you look here, let me see if I can get the camera angle right. If you look at that, you see that the angle changes halfway down, which is disastrous, obviously, if there's any wind at all. So they do need to be on straight, these mechanical tiles. They're not like the old ridge and valley tiles. So yep, I'm going to climb up there and try not to fall off. From up here you can see there's a big piece of metal missing there compared to what's down the other side. I don't think that's quite the way it's supposed to be done. It certainly doesn't look like any of the metalwork I have now. So yeah, we'll just have to see. I'm going to strip everything off now. I hope I've got enough metalwork actually looking at it, but it should be okay. I'm guessing I'll be okay, just about. So yeah, no, I don't think any of this was done particularly professionally. It all sat on that one. It is all just crumbling away. news to anyone here. So yeah, definitely time it was done. Also, I think this sits too high. It should get the wind under it as well. Seems to be a whole stack of bits of broken tile. So yeah, well, we'll see how we get on. But for now, let's just strip it off. Well, unfortunately, about halfway through that, my phone dropped out of my pocket and fell down, and I didn't want to climb down and then climb back up again to get it. But we've done basically the start, so I'm going to undo it in sort of like a diagonal line across, and I'm going to start bringing down these little stacks here. Some of the tiles are good. I don't know if I'll change them all. There is sort of a knocking thing, I think. I saw this on the internet somewhere. You bang them against each other, and if they make a hollow noise, they're duff, or they've had frost or something, and if they don't, then they're fine. But it's going quite well. There are just a million reasons why this needed to be done, and I'll show some of them to you. I mean, up here, this is all a bit of a mess, but what I thought I'd do is take everything off, well, take all of the tiles off, and then fly around it with the drone so that you can see exactly how it was done. And it seems to have been done many times, different bits at different times, and yeah, well, it is it's a bit like an archaeology lesson, I guess. Again, over here there are about 6 million walnut shells and bits of God knows what that obviously mice have had in here over the last 100 years, and there's just stuff everywhere, but no pot of gold yet, so I'm just going to keep going. It's coming up on lunchtime now. So here we are on top of the wall. This is the bit that I sort of want to cement together once round, which shouldn't be too hard because there's plenty of room, and on the other side there's a lot more room. It looks very different on the other side. It's obviously done at different times. But here's my gutter, which is a lovely little flower bed, and where it isn't a flower bed, it's because the flowers have dropped straight through. But look how the brackets to hold the gutters are on, so there's a bit of wire holding the gutter in place, and the bracket comes in through this bit of muck and is then wired onto the last lat, which is, all of this seems to be floating off the roof, seems to be floating. So yeah, lots of work, but we're definitely getting there. It's for mid-October, scorching day. One of the big reasons to not reuse these tiles is all of this. This looks like frost damage over the years, and in fact that is this ridge here, and it's gone on everywhere. There are these little bits of tile that have just kind of frozen off. That one looks all right, but there are lots of bits here, so they must have come off one of the tiles. So obviously there is some sort of damage to them. They're probably not worth keeping because they really aren't particularly expensive, and I think it'd look nice. Have a nice set like over there. Put some snow stoppers on, and it'll look great. So yeah, no, it's definitely coming along. There's just a load of stuff that's a bit worrying because, you know, it's sort of just not sealed to anything, and bits of wool that have been mucked about with over the years. But I've bought a fair amount, about half a ton of concrete in the back of the van, ready mix. So that'll hopefully get all of this sealed together with some rebar in it, and it'll hold for, well, hopefully until one of my kids or grandkids decide to redo it at some point. Okay, well, that's it. I'm dying. So hot, so dusty. So what have I learnt? I've learnt there are many more tiles than I thought there were going to be. When you look at a roof, you think, oh, that, you know, like 6, maybe 9 tiles per square meter. Nowhere near. It's very dusty, And I'm very glad I've done this because it's a mess up here. So I'm going to go and get the drone out. I'm going to fly over it and I'll show you all the messy bits. Okay, well, I hope that's given you a good idea of what it looks like up there. I'm going to go and have some quick lunch, and then I'm going to get back down and I'm going to get on with taking off the wooden structure bits by bit and working out what to keep and how to keep it. Okay, well, it's after lunch, a new t-shirt, and I've washed my face, and I got my trusty old crowbar, and I'm going to start taking off the wood bit by bit. So lats first, then the beams, and then we'll clean up the top of the walls all the way around and see what's worth keeping and what isn't. Scrape things down a bit, get everything tidied up and ready to go. I mean, this is not ideal, but we can perhaps make something out of it, not sure. Yeah, so first bits first, take it to pieces. Okay, well, I've taken all of the, well, I've unattached most of the wood. I've unattached all of the beams and all of the slats. Oh, I think they're called slats. And that's brought on other discoveries. So obviously this has been repaired at certain times and then redone. But I do have a question, if any of you know this. There's lots of bits of stone sticking out of the wall here. So ignore the tile bits because they're just cemented in. But below that, these flat pieces of stone. And they go up and they go quite far into the wall. And it looks almost as if the wall changes there. So from everything I know, that side is older than this side. But could that be wrong? And could this perhaps be signs that this used to have a stone roof? I think that would be quite interesting to know. So I think I'm going to have to put on the top one straight flat beam, because nothing's straight, obviously. And this, I thought I'd keep this as a feature beam and hang salamis and stuff from it, because it's huge. It's pointlessly big, but it's also very wonky. And you see, to get the line from there down to the wall, they've had to put this much stuff on top. So what I'm going to do is make a hole in the wall and cement a proper beam all the way across. I might put a little foot in the middle to push it off flat, so it doesn't have to be that big a cross section. Something, you know, probably like on the other side. It looks like the other side was done more recently. But then over here there are leftover bits of wood in the wall. But they seem to be above the beams, which is a bit weird. And there is a piece of wood here, which is normally what the beams would have would have sat on, but they didn't. They sat over there. You can see where the holes are. They sat in the cement. So it's the roof structure, angle, pitch, and everything else seems to have been changed at some point in time. But yeah, still very good progress. So my plan now, or at least what I'd like to do next, is clean everything up. So I want to get that piece of wood here out of the wall there, because that's pretty much where I want to run cement down. I want to clear off all of this loose rubble, and then I shall start measuring up, because I bought some stuff, but I certainly haven't brought any wood with me. So I shall go and have to buy the wood down in town, but I'll need to measure up exactly and make sure that everything is pitched straight. And I can probably do that while the cement stuff is drying. On the other side, hang on a second. So on this side, I think if you ignore the millions and millions of things that the mice have hidden away in here over the years, I think this is much closer to what the original roof structure was on this side. It doesn't have an overhang. We're just on the top of the wall. It's not made to look pretty because this is the back side of the house. And I think over here as well, this is much more traditional. On the other side, there were bricks, these flat bricks. You see there's a broken one there that lined the top of the wall. And there aren't any on this side. So it'll just be a lot of cleaning up here. It looks like this has already been cemented, so well, we'll see if we can tie into it. I don't know. I'm just going to have to tidy everything first. But again, the sun is still shining. This would make a magnificent terrace, but it would destroy the look of the house. But you imagine having the kitchen, big double kitchen downstairs, and little staircase up, and you could come out here, and then we could use that terrace for aperitifs and this terrace for dining, or, well, I don't think we need that many terraces. Anyway, that's not what's going to happen. This is going to have a nice cathedral roof, and it'll be a lovely kitchen. So that's what I'm talking about. Look at all these stones over here. See, I mean, they're not just stuck in. And the wall, not just the colour, but it looks like everything sort of went on top. I don't know, maybe they just made a hole in the wall. It'd be almost impossible to tell on the inside because that's the hallway. So it's got a vault. I think this is probably older. You see there, the roof has also been done with those bricks that overhang, and they slowly rot. So yeah. Okay. So I'm going to tidy up a little bit, start getting those bits of wood out, and then I'm probably going to end up calling it a day. Okay, well, that's going to be it for today's video. So a busy day. It'll keep going directly tomorrow morning. So lots of stuff left to do. Some prep work and then quite a lot of building and a little bit of shopping. So that's that's about it. So as I said earlier, I'm sorry it's been such a long time. I was out here, after the last video, I was out here on holiday with the mother-in-law, and that went very well, but immediately after that I was pretty ill actually for a little bit. And then the kids started school, so big school, and that was exciting, but took up a lot of time, short hours, picking him up, bringing him there, making sure that he's okay, between me and my delightful other half. and then work took off. Obviously, you know, we're having just like everyone else, we're having a difficult time with business at the moment. Transport costs have gone crazy, raw material costs have gone crazy, inflation's gone crazy. So it's all, you know, even doing the work here now has become that much more expensive just to buy things like cement and wood. So hopefully that won't slow us down too much, but it probably will a little bit. Yeah, so that's about it. But I got a lot of messages asking if we were okay. I'm sorry I didn't answer them. I kept wanting to make a video, as you'll see. But no, we're fine. Everyone's fine. Everything's fine. And I really needed to come back here. This is my work-life balance. This is really my life balance. When you've been working so hard, taking something to bits with a hammer and a prying bar does wonders for you. So yeah, well, thank you very much for all of the comments. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you're all well. Take care, and bye for now. So, hello and welcome back. As you can see behind me, not only am I not in Italy, but it is also raining, although the sun is shining over there. Beautiful rainbow in the background. It's a bit loud because I'm outside, so I'm going to head back in a minute. I know it's been 2 months, 2 very busy months, and I'm just going to explain what's been going on. And it's not been much, but we'll get into that in a minute.